to
Hi, my name is Meagan Matthy, and this is A Minute with Meagan. I'm here today with Susan Tripi, who is the founder and CEO of the Sparrow Collective. Tell me more about the Sparrow Collective.
Thank you so much, Megan, for having me. First of all, I appreciate the opportunity to share more about the Sparrow Collective. So, the Sparrow Collective is the first of its kind in Massachusetts.
Okay.
We are a nonprofit that is committed to disrupting the status quo for women and children post-divorce. And we're doing that by acquiring vacant properties and converting them into supportive living communities.
Tell me more about that. So, are these paid living communities, or does the nonprofit kind of fund those things for these women who are obviously in what could be a very terrible situation?
Great question. So this will be paid living communities.
Okay.
The benefit of what we are offering is that it is financially sustainable housing. Knowing that the single most predictive determinant of whether a woman ends up in a position of poverty post-divorce is the rising cost of housing. So we are disrupting that by providing financially sustainable housing.
Okay.
And all of the wraparound support services that are needed to navigate through this challenging time and rebuild.
That's amazing. How did you decide to get into this specific niche of divorce support?
That has been a journey, right?
Okay.
And so part of my background includes a period of time in community development work, and through that, journeying with women in a variety of life situations and seeing consistently how when a single woman or a woman leaving a relationship is placed in the position of being the full financial supporter of the family, housing is a crucial factor in the quality of life after that, right? And then I went through my own divorce. I went through my own divorce about 5 or 6 years ago, and I became acutely aware of the gaps that are in place for women. And for me, during the time, and I've been very public about this, I ended up on SNAP for a while.
Okay.
I ended up on public health care, and I had food insecurity, and I had housing insecurity because my income dropped significantly after that as well. So during that time, I was literally struggling, and when I found the right resources to help me through, I remember saying, no woman should ever have to move through this in feeling unsupported. And I immediately became a certified divorce coach.
Ooh.
Right? Started guiding women through that process and journey. And I kept hearing the same two fears. One, how am I going to afford this? How am I going to afford in Massachusetts with the rising cost of housing and rent? How am I going to afford to create a safe space for my kids and myself? And then women would start joking, like, where are all the Golden Girls communities? Where are all the spaces where we can live together?
Mm-hmm.
And I tucked that away in the back of my mind. And after a few months, I was like, okay, God, there's a need here. What are we going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
And so I started looking for properties, found this one in Worcester County, and we have been in the process of trying to acquire this to convert into the first collective.
That's amazing. The properties that you have, once they're renovated, will women be able to stay there long term, or is there like a safety net period where they need to work towards a different way of housing?
So we are not a shelter, and we are not a short-term housing community. There are many resources like that available, and so we have partnerships and collaborations for women with that type of a need. We are a middle-length housing community, right? We are 12 to 15 months.
Okay.
And the reason why we are capping it at 12 to 15 months is because the need is significant. Yes. In Worcester County alone, there are over 70,000 women living post-divorce, and we know that 44% of them will end up in a position of poverty within 1 year.
That's horrible.
Right? Think about the DCU Center, how many times that fills the DCU Center, right? And so our model is built on a series of educational modules around financial competency and literacy, around career planning and goal setting, and around a whole bunch of other support services that during this 12 to 15 month period, women are learning the skills and equipping with the right competencies so that they are successful financially and emotionally when they graduate out of the program.
Oh, that's exciting. I love the word graduate. It sounds like this is like a fully rehabilitational type environment, and it's not just here, you can live here and this is the price that it's going to be, and good luck. It's a whole program to help people get to the next steps.
Exactly. And that, I think, is such a critical point to mention. It's one of the ways that differentiates us from other organizations that are out there that we collaborate with is everyone on our board and most of our advisory board members are already in the divorce recovery space. We're in it, we're servicing clients, we're hearing what the needs are, it's on the ground. So this is the next iteration of divorce care and recovery that is fully supportive, holistically healing, and will set women up to ensure that they do not slip into that poverty level, but they have that confidence and capability of thriving post-divorce.
That's awesome. So how did you come up with the name? So you're called the Sparrow Collective, and you had shared earlier that Sparrow Collective is a common name for businesses and nonprofits. How did you end up as the Sparrow Collective?
Great question. So I will say that the Sparrow Collective is a faith-based organization coming from a Christian background and spending many years in church communities. And there is a passage of scripture that I'll read for you because the name comes out of this, and then I'll share a little bit more about the context. So this is Matthew 6:25. Therefore, I tell you, do not worry about what you will eat or drink, about your body and what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes? Look at the sparrows in the air. They do not sow or reap or stow away in barns, and yet God feeds them. And are you not much more valuable than the sparrow?
I love that.
Right. And so for me, when I was going through my divorce, every area of my life crumbled. Every area. Financially, socially, emotionally, physically, I had nothing. Baseline, nothing, right? And there were times where I didn't know when I was going to eat or where food was coming from or where work was going to come from. This also happened during COVID. And I kept noticing surprise gifts that would show up in my mailbox, or phone calls or letters that I would receive in the mail, and inside would be $100 gift card from an anonymous person. And this kept happening over the course of a year. I have journals filled with all of these unexplainable things. And for me, each time something like that happened,
Like a sparrow?
yes, this scripture came to my mind, and it was I honestly believe this was God saying, I see you, Sparrow. I see you. I'm here with you. I'm providing for you. And so Sparrow Collective is this sentiment and belief and thought that we are responsible for each other. We care for each other. And divorce comes with so much stigma and shame.
It's not a dirty word.
It's not, right? And through all of the cultural conditioning, it is a space still where women carry a lot of shame around that, a lot of isolation and a lot of loneliness, right? So the Sparrow Collective is here to say, you're welcome.
The village.
Exactly. We're a village.
I love that. If someone either wants to get involved with the Sparrow Collective, or if they maybe are in need of support from either a housing perspective or a coaching perspective, how can they get in touch with you or your team?
So you can reach out to us at the sparrowcollective.org. And through that, you'll find our social media presence. You'll find a way to communicate with us. That's really the funnel. All of the information and email information comes directly to me, and we pass it on to our team. So that's the best way to get in touch.
So there is obviously a lot of emotional effort that goes into this nonprofit that has a tie to your own history and your own traumas. How are you balancing taking care of Susan and taking care of the nonprofit, the Sparrow Collective?
I have several self-care practices that are rhythms during my week. And some of those are I walk in nature. I walk on Mondays with your group. And so that is one way for me of releasing some of the emotional, because it's a lot.
Taxing, right?
Yes, it's very taxing. So I walk, I also journal. I write it out and I journal. And I have a gratitude practice where and an intention setting practice. So every morning, as part of my morning routine, I set an intention for how I want to show up that day and how I want to be open to serve others with compassion and dignity. And then at the end of the day, my gratitude practice is I jot down 4 or 5 things that I'm grateful for that day that occurred that gave me pause to say, wow, that was a meaningful connection with that person there, or that other business owner, or that collaboration that came out. So those are some.
So one last kind of weird question. My love language is gift giving. Is there anything that you give to the women and the children that come into these housing situations where you're finally providing them with a safe place to land? Do they get a journal?
They will get an entire basket of goodies and treats. Yes.
That's
and
amazing.
That does include journals. It includes, because I also love bright colors, so it includes colored pens to write with. It includes self-care items like candles and lotions. We have several women who are vendors for organic cosmetic lines, and so it will include items like that.
I love that. I have some Ipsy bags that might be fun to repurpose to create these baskets. Like I said, gift giving is my love language, so I think I see a connection with this.
It would be wonderful.
So, Susan, obviously there are a lot of women in central Massachusetts and beyond that are in a situation where they could really benefit from the tools that the Sparrow Collective provides. If they want to get in touch with you either for services or to help facilitate something or donate money, how can they do that?
Yes, please do, because like I said, we're in the divorce recovery space. We have extensive network of professionals that are servicing women and children moving through the divorce process. So reach out, and you can reach us at www.thesparrowcollective.org. And there you'll find all of our social handles, and you'll find a way to connect with us directly.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, my name is Meagan Matthy. This has been A Minute with Meagan, and I was here today with Susan Tripi from the Sparrow Collective.
Good.
Awesome.
I'm nervous.
I have no idea what I said the entire time. So I hope
You
it was
sounded
coherent
great.
and made
No,
sense.
that was good. That was a good.